guys, excavation's complete. We've had one grab away already today. Unfortunately, we can't get the second grab out today to get the rest. So tomorrow we've got the grab coming, we've got the hardcore coming. But now we've got a clear oversight, we're going to start setting some levels and some heights. Like I previously mentioned, we know our finished level is of course the top of the curbs. And down the bottom here, we're going to be about a brick below damp course, which I know as far as building control is concerned, that's incorrect. But by incorporating a gravel trap at the rear of the property, keeping that 150 below damp, it then becomes within building control regulations. So, in order to pull our lines through, we've set our datum up here. So we're going to hook our string line onto our datum point. Now, to get this datum point, we've obviously calculated out whether we want we're allowing for a French drain, flower bed, whatever the case may be. In the instance here, we've come in from the boundary line so that we can also incorporate a fence. So that's why we've basically stuck that there. Up this end, we've got another datum point to the same sort of width from the boundary, where we've actually incorporated a peg, which we're going to use to sort of tie off our string line and get our finished levels. So we know our existing finished level was around about this brick course here. So if we pull our string line nice and tight, bring it to the peg, so we know that that's our level on the peg. We're then going to pull it tight, wrap it round twice. If we get a nice little close up here if we can. So I've wrapped it round once, we're going to pull it nice and tight, wrap it round one more time, and then we're going to just slightly lift it over, and that'll pull our string line nice and tight. Ready to start incorporating our 4x2 timber. Now we like to use 4x2 because the timber gives us our indication on the thickness of our concrete. So we always use 4x2 timber because it gives us our guide, and also it's a very strong type of formwork to use so it doesn't bow or warp. So we're going to be putting that in now, and you'll be seeing that in the video. Thank you. Here we go guys, now we're about to start putting in some formwork. So we've already screwed in our other end there because obviously we're trying to allow for ACO drains and a gravel trap. So that's been set to a certain measurement. So up this end now, we're going to get our peg. We like to try and half bond our timber onto the peg as much as possible. So that way we can join the next one on pretty accurately. So once we know about whereabouts the peg has got to be, we're going to get our sledgehammer. We do sometimes like to take them down as low as the string. That way it makes it a hell of a lot easier when it comes time to level the concrete. Then we get our drill. Now a lot of you boys like to use hammer and nails, but we like to do things the modern way. Lovely. So we always like to reinforce our pegs or our timber with a couple of pegs, because the last thing you want on any installation is your formwork all out of line. So it's a big difference between a good job and a bad job. So if we're using sort of 3 metre timbers, every 1.5 metres we'd like to put a peg just to hold it in place. I know a lot of people like to use the road forms, which is still good, which on, you know, a lot of projects when you're doing larger areas, they are very handy. But on your smaller areas, we do like to use 4x2 because it's easy to cut, easy to work with, and just nice to use. And you can always reuse it as well. That's why we like to use screws, so we can unscrew our wood and from our pegs when we're done. Perfect. Right, here we go guys. So jobs that have been done so far: timber's in, the excavation's been done, we've had the muck away, we've had hardcore delivered, we've leveled it, we've tracked it in, we've got it all level, ready to rock and roll so the customer can park on it while we're waiting for some good weather to lay it. Jobs to be done now. Now it's time to install our ACO drainage. Now as you can see, we've incorporated our string line set to a level. We've actually set the ACOs to level because we've got a 4-inch trap it will naturally find the low spot and drain away. So job now is to get this set all the way through. That's going to take all of our surface water, and then we're going to be plumbing it in from this point straight into that drain at a later date. So once all our pattern concrete aspects done, we'll be coming back and linking that in. We're going to be leaving our gravel trap that side just to let the air bricks breathe, and of course to keep us that 150 below damp course from the gravel trap side. So that keeps us in our building control regulations. So just keep watching, guys. We're going to be demonstrating how we install our ACOs. Thank you.